What's up guys, this is Kyle24 back at your screens, and today again I bring you another very fancy nice tech video. And today's video is going to be the one you guys have probably been waiting for a little while, and that is the review of this little bad boy. So this is the Sony ZV-E10 vlogging camera. Is what it's called, the Sony ZV-E10 or ZV-E10 if you're here in the UK. I say Z, I don't know, I've always said Z. What is it? Is it Z or Z? Let me know in the comments below, because that is a very interesting question. Do you say Z or do you say Z? So this is the ZV-E10, and this is a camera that's been released by Sony very recently, and it is aimed completely at vloggers, or should I say it's aimed at content creators. It says made for vloggers, however it is more of a content creation friendly camera, if you want to put it that way. So I've had this camera for a little while now, and I've been playing around with it, using it. You know, safe to say it is a very, very good camera. I've done a couple of videos on it before. I've done a video where I unboxed the thing in the first place. I did a video to review the kind of footage that comes out of it, you know, just literally a video of footage. That's all it was. It was just footage and a little bit of me kind of actually using it to vlog and giving you an idea of the kind of quality that this camera delivers. And also I did a camera showcasing how you can use this for streaming and as a webcam for your live streams if you're streaming on Twitch, YouTube, or whatever platform that you are streaming on. And so from there, what I want to do today is I want to give you a comprehensive review of this camera, all of its features, what I think is good, what I think is bad, and my kind of overall opinion on the camera itself. So as always, we're going to play that intro and then come back and get straight to that review. Now before I start, I do want to mention that I will have the links to the camera itself, as well as any accessories and peripherals that I mention in this video, down in the description box below. These are Amazon affiliate links, or Amazon associate links rather. So if you do use those links to buy the products, I will get a small amount of commission from that, and that does help the channel out massively. So thank you if you do. Also, if you do have any questions, then do feel free to leave a comment down below, or alternatively, you can hop into my Discord and ask away there. There are other people there who might be able to help you as well. So jump into the Discord, links in the description box below. Now, let's start with the overview of the features of this camera. So this camera has a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor. It has a very reliable autofocus with face and eye detection. It's also capable of filming in 4K at 24 FPS as well as 1080p 120 FPS. It's got a built-in 3-capsule directional microphone built into the camera and a windscreen to kind of help prevent noise, and as well as a fully articulating touchscreen display. And of course, it has a 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone jack, a USB-C port, as well as a HDMI port. It has live stream capabilities and can record up to 80 minutes continuously without interruptions, and is capable of shooting vertical video. So if you're going to be making those TikTok videos or shorts or reels, then this camera can do it all. Now that's just an overview of all the kind of basic capabilities of the camera. Now moving on to a little bit more detail, let's start off with the design of the camera. It does have your regular kind of Sony mirrorless camera design, which has that kind of flat top and flat side design. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels very premium in your hand. It's quite heavy, you know, it feels very nice and solid. It's got this kind of rubber grip on the side, which I quite like. It is quite nice to kind of hold, especially if you're kind of recording kind of videos and stuff with it. It does give you that nice kind of grip that you want. It's got a wide range of buttons and dials, you know, for adjusting your focus, adjusting your settings, on-off button at the top, as well as an easy switch button at the top, which allows you to switch from photo to video to 120 FPS mode. And there's a record button at the top and another button which allows you to defocus your image. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. So it's nice, it feels good, it feels very, very solid. It's very well built when compared to something like the Sony a5100, which I felt a bit like light. And it doesn't have those dangly things on the side, which basically made the a5100 very annoying to kind of carry around. But you know, it's a nice solid build. It feels good to hold. It's compact. It can kind of fit into my pocket. So if I'm wearing a hoodie or a blazer, it can kind of fit into my pocket and I can pull it out, and it's just there ready to use. Now, another main feature of this camera, which kind of separates it from the previous vlogging camera that Sony brought out, which was the ZV-1, I think it's called, is that it does have an interchangeable lens system. So just like any of the other mirrorless cameras in the alpha range, this has an interchangeable lens system, and it's an E-mount, which means that you can use any of Sony's E-mount lenses on this, and that basically gives you a massive variety of lenses to utilize for your content creation, so you're not stuck to just the one zoom lens that you have fitted on here. Next up is the display. It is, like I said, fully articulating, meaning that you can kind of twist it around, so you can put it up front, use it for vlogging. You can see yourself whilst you're vlogging, and you know, it's just very handy to have an articulating display because you can shoot at all different angles and be able to see it. It doesn't have a viewfinder, so it's not like your kind of pro cameras which have viewfinders on them. In terms of ports, like I said before, it also has a USB-C port on the side which you use for charging, and a HDMI port, a micro HDMI port, which you can use to connect to a HDMI cable for things like live streaming or viewing it on a external monitor. In terms of the battery, it does come with a standard kind of battery that comes with all of your mirrorless cameras that Sony offers. Pops in right at the bottom there, memory card slot at the bottom as well, and it does take up to UHS 2 memory cards. And in terms of other accessories, it comes with this little wind muff in the box, which allows you to kind of pop it on top and acts as a kind of a noise reduction tool for the microphone. It can also be purchased with a vlogging kit, which basically gives you a wireless external microphone as well as a wireless shooting grip, and those can be pretty handy, especially if you're going to be using it a lot for vlogging and stuff like that. However, they can also be purchased separately. Now let's move on to the more juicy stuff, the video quality. That's pretty much what we are all here to know about and talk about, is what is this camera capable of in terms of video. So the camera has admittedly got a very good video quality. I mean, I've used it quite a bit. You can see from the vlogs, the overall quality of the video is actually pretty damn good. Like the previous video where I kind of showcased the footage is completely unedited, and you can see that the quality is there. It is really, really good, high quality. That was filmed at 4K, and the camera does have oversampled 4K footage. So it's basically 6K footage, which is compressed down to 4K, which is fantastic for a camera of this size and price. Now, given that the fact that this is a camera made for video, made for vlogging, made for content creation, I'm not surprised that it has that high quality of a video. Now, in terms of the technical stuff, it is capable of filming at 1080p, 24 fps, 30 fps, 60 fps, but it also has 1080p at 120 fps, which basically gives you that nice slow motion footage that you want, and you can turn that on or off with the press of a button at the top here, like I said before. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that the 120 fps does have a very slight crop of 1.14 times. However, that's barely noticeable. You're rarely going to see a difference between the kind of uncropped and cropped footage in this case. And also, you don't get audio at 120 fps, but that's pretty much fine, because when you're doing that kind of slow motion footage, you're probably going to be adding music to it at the end in post-production, so it doesn't really matter there. Now, it also shoots oversampled 4K, which I mentioned before, and it can film that at 24 and 30 fps. The 30 fps does give a 1.33 times crop. However, the 24 fps is uncropped completely, and that's perfect, because most of the time, if you're going to be filming for social media and stuff like that, or for YouTube or whatnot, I would highly suggest using the 24 fps, though a lot of people do tend to use 30 fps. Now, the one thing I noticed in terms of the video is that there is a very bad rolling shutter effect, and I saw this especially when I was filming in 4K. I'm pretty sure there is a way to turn this off, and I think it's less so in 1080p. I don't know whether that's to do with the combination of the digital stabilization of the camera kind of mixing with the optical stabilization of the lens, or whatever it is. I'm not sure what was causing that. I'm pretty sure there's a way to turn it off. I haven't been able to do so myself, you know, fiddle around enough with it. It might be to do with the lens. I don't have any other Sony lenses that I can kind of test out with it, so that's a bit of a bummer, but I'm pretty sure I've seen other footage from other YouTubers where it doesn't look anywhere near as bad. So there's a workaround. I just don't know what it is. However, it was a little bit annoying when I was trying to use it to film stuff, because that rolling shutter effect was quite bad, especially in 4K. Now, like I said, in terms of stabilization, it's meant to have that digital stabilization within it. However, that rolling shutter effect you get with it does kind of give it a bit of a drawback. When I was using it for vlogging in 4K mode, it was really bad, and you know, especially if you're holding it out, it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a vlogging camera. So like I said, there probably is a workaround. I just don't know what it is. Now, moving on from that, the ZV-E10 does get one thing that I'm quite excited about, and that is Sony's picture profiles, cinema picture profiles rather, which basically means that you can film in log with this. You can film in S-Log2, S-Log3, HLG with this camera, just like you can with cameras like the A6400. And this is great for all sorts of content creation, and basically allows you to get that higher quality footage that you might be looking to get for your content. And this is definitely something that Sony is getting right, in my opinion, with their cameras, and they've been doing it for a while now, where cameras like the A6400 and this camera are getting these picture profiles, allowing you to capture video in higher quality with a great dynamic range. And it's something that Canon's cameras are kind of one step behind in. If you look at cameras like the Canon M50 and kind of the other entry-level cameras that Canon have introduced, or mirrorless cameras, they don't have the capability of filming in log, and that is a little bit of a drawback, especially if you're looking to get that low lower end camera but still have the capability of filming in cinema style, then you don't want to be spending that extra amount in getting something like the EOS R. Even the EOS RP, which is meant to be a full frame camera, doesn't have log capabilities, and here we are with these APS-C cameras that are able to film in log. So Sony, well done. Canon, fix up. You're not doing things right. You gotta learn to keep up with the ages. Next is the autofocus. This camera is meant to have really good autofocus, but I haven't seen it yet. It might be due to the lens. It might be because I've set something wrong. I've had face detection autofocus turned on, and you can see in my previous video, there is a lot of hunting. I've noticed this a lot when I'm using the camera. There's a lot of hunting going on, and that can be a little bit detrimental to your footage, you know, especially if you're trying to get something perfectly in focus. There is a product focus mode in the camera, which basically means that when you hold the you know, if you're doing a product review or something like that, and you hold the product up, it does quickly switch to the product, and I have seen that work quite well. But in general, everyday use, the hunting of the focus has been a little bit weird. So there is a mix of it being fantastic and then being a bit not so fantastic. So I have seen from other creators reviews of this camera that the autofocus does work really well. I don't know whether that's down to the lens. I'm pretty sure if you slap on something like a Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens onto it, which has fantastic autofocus capabilities as well, and combine that with autofocus capabilities of the camera itself, you're not going to get those same kind of problems. So yeah, it might be the lens, it might not be, I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but overall the autofocus on this camera is meant to be fantastic. Now the next thing on from autofocus is the defocus capability that this camera has. If you are looking to get that nice kind of bokeh look, like if I move closer, you can see that this camera that I'm using is giving me that nice bokeh look, but that's because I've got a nice f1.4 lens slapped onto it, and it's a Canon EOS R. You know, it's giving me that nice crispy bokeh in the background. And if you're looking to get that out of a camera, but you don't want to spend more on you know, on an expensive lens that gives you that bokeh look, you can hit that defocus button on this camera. There is a defocus mode on this camera, and if you turn on that defocus mode, it basically gives you that nice intense bokeh look. It makes the foreground nice and crisp, and it blurs out that background. So you can turn that on and off in camera, and it gives you that nice look, and which is quite nice if you're vlogging or if you're, you know, taking product photos, product videos, whatever it is. That defocus mode does come into handy, and it just makes your footage look that much creamier and crispier and nicer, especially in the foreground. It gives you that nice cinematic look with the bokeh and blur in the background. Another cool feature that the camera has is it's got a soft skin mode, which basically means if you turn it on, it's like what your smartphones do these days with the portrait mode. It softens up the skin and kind of smooths out the skin, makes you look nice and prettier. I personally don't have to use that much because, you know, I'm me and I look good as it is, so I've not really turned it on much when I'm in filming. But if you do want to use it to make yourself look that much nicer, then you do have that option, and you can change the level just like in a smartphone, just like in your iPhone or your Android phones, where you can change that smoothness, skin smoothness level up and down, the beauty mode or whatever you want to call it. It has the same kind of feature there, so that's pretty handy, especially if you're a creator and you don't want anybody seeing you know, the pores in your skin. Now obviously this is a camera and it takes photos, and it takes really good photos. It's got a 24 megapixel sensor, so the photo quality is amazing. So if you're a content creator, you want to take nice snaps for Instagram, or what else do people use for photos these days? It's pretty much Instagram, isn't it? If you want to take a nice snap for Instagram or to post on Facebook, if you're still using Facebook in this day and age for sharing your photos, then yeah, this camera can do it all. It takes pictures in RAW, so you can edit them in post as well. But in terms of photos, it's pretty good. I mean, the camera is mainly a video camera, but it has all the kind of photography features that you'd expect from a mirrorless camera from Sony. So yeah, overall, the video and picture quality of this camera is fantastic, and it definitely delivers on what Sony have promised in terms of the high quality vlogging camera that this is. Now, let's move on to audio. Let's talk audio. This camera does have that large 3-capsule microphone, or it's meant to be a 3-capsule directional microphone at the top. It's pretty good. It is probably a little bit better than your standard inbuilt camera mic. However, it's still not amazing. Like, it does the job, definitely does the job, and you can see from my previous video, which was filmed purely with the built-in camera here, there is a lot of noise in the background, especially if you're in a noisy environment. If you're vlogging out and about, vlogging in a noisy environment, this is going to capture a lot of that noise. It says it's directional, but it's only so much directional, and you know, they do provide this little wind muff to help with the noise reduction, help with the wind noise, but it only does so much. There is still a significant amount of noise in the background when you're recording. It's not as perfect, clear, crisp as something like if I was recording with a boom mic or a directional mic like a Rode microphone. It doesn't give you audio as crisp as that. However, the good thing is it does have that hot shoe port at the top, and that means that you can mount an external mic to it and plug it into your microphone jack, which is up here on the side. So that basically allows you to use any external microphone with the camera. Now, if you want to hear for yourself exactly what the difference is between using the inbuilt microphone and an external microphone, then here is an example of me using the camera with just the inbuilt microphone. This is what the camera sounds like with just the inbuilt mic and the wind muff on top. And here is an example of me using the camera with a Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. And this is what the camera sounds like with the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus mounted to the top. Could you tell the difference there? The Video Mic Pro Plus was way clearer, way crisper than the inbuilt microphone. So as great as the inbuilt microphone is, if you want to get that perfect audio, then I would highly suggest grabbing an external microphone. And the best thing is Sony actually do their own hot shoe mic, which basically is a mic without the need to plug in the mic to the side of the mic jack. I said mic so many times here. But yeah, that hot shoe mic basically just plugs into the top, connects straight away to the camera. It's nice, small and compact. I think it costs about £100 or so, something like that. But it's much smaller because if you're adding a mic like the Video Mic Pro Plus, then it looks really weird and janky. You know, you've got this big ass mic, mind my language, you've got this big mic sitting on top of this tiny camera. It does look a little bit weird, but with the Sony mic, it looks a lot nicer. I don't have the mic myself, so I haven't seen what the audio quality is, but I'm pretty sure it's quite a high quality, nice directional microphone. So you've got that option, especially if you want that nice, clearer audio from your footage. Now, like I mentioned before, additional features of this camera include being able to use it for streaming and for live streaming and as a webcam. So you can connect a HDMI cable to this and use it as a streaming webcam. I do have an entire tutorial on how to do that. Link to that is up here, so do click it if you want to find out how to use it as a webcam. You can also connect the camera to your phone using the Play Memories app and do all sorts of things with it. All in all, this is a fantastic camera. Now, there are a couple of things that I really don't like. Personally, I don't like the fact that the touchscreen is limited to just setting your autofocus. I want the touchscreen to be able to do everything for me. It has to be fully functional. This limited functionality of the touchscreen is something that I don't like in Sony cameras, and it's one of the reasons I kind of stay away from Sony cameras. With the Canon cameras, you can do everything through the touchscreen, and for me that's really important because, you know, in today's day and age, you're using your smartphones for everything, so you're so used to those touch controls. Having to kind of cycle through menus with a button and a dial, it just doesn't do it. So Sony fixed up on that aspect. And another thing is the menus. Oh my god, I really don't like the Sony menus. And this is personally, like, this is just me. I don't know, other people might find the menus absolutely fine, but I just find the menus a little bit confusing. It's slightly harder to find things within the menus and, you know, just kind of maneuver around them, the user interface and stuff like that. It just doesn't do it for me. Maybe I'm just really used to using the Canon ones, but it is what it is, and that is one of those things that I don't like about the Sony cameras, and in extension with this camera. However, things like the quick switch into 120 FPS mode, the defocus, the soft skin, these are all great features. The vertical video, they're all fantastic features for content creators, and they do make this camera worthwhile getting. It's got great image quality, it's got great video quality. It makes this camera fantastic for any content creator. However, I do want to say that it probably wouldn't be fantastic for a first-time user. If you're looking to get an entry-level camera, just starting off your content creation, you know, just to take a couple of normal videos with, then I wouldn't recommend this. I would recommend the Canon M50 Mark II over this. They're about the same price point, but the Canon M50 Mark II is probably just that little bit easier to use. It doesn't have as many advanced features as this one. It doesn't have log, it doesn't have all of that fancy schmancy stuff. However, if you're looking to get a little bit of an upgrade and just up the level of your content creation that bit more, you know, if you want to film in log, if you want that nice 120 FPS slow motion, if you want all those extra features, then this is definitely the camera to get above most of the cameras out in the market right now. The A6400 is also a great Sony camera, which also offers those similar kind of features like filming in log. However, at the moment, if you're looking to get something purely for content creation, then this is your go-to camera for sure. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was informative. I hope it was useful. If you did enjoy it, then do make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you're not already, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel out. And I'm really happy that you guys are watching my videos. And if you want to keep up with when I post, because I am posting several videos a week now, then do hit that notification bell. It will tell you exactly when I post my videos. And like I said if you want to jump into my Discord or my Twitch or any of my other social medias, then do hit the links in the description box down below. They're all there. Get clicking, get following. And that's it from me today, guys. Until the next video, this is Kyo24 signing out.